Barbs are mad at me right now.
Oh yeah, why you on Nicki's head top? Like, well, you have to realize, Vlad, you're independent media, so you're supposed to be not anti-Rock Nation, but Rock Nation is the enemy right now.
Are they? Well, by the way, someone I know, I don't want to say their name, but it's someone you mentioned this person before. They sent that clip to Jay-Z, and he was like, "Oh, I love this. This is great." So Jay-Z loves the Tony Busby back and forth.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's Memphis Bleak who did that.
Like, it wasn't Bleak. That wasn't Bleak.
Bleak.
Yeah, I mean,
I've waved the white flag with them. I think they thought because of the. So here's the thing.
Not me.
Well, no, when I said wave the white flag, because
Nicki blocked me, I think, after that.
No, well, you're talking about Nicki. Yeah. I'm talking about Rock Nation. I think Rock Nation started going at a few people, and like, for example, I think that they think I'm like super like Tory's my man's, but that's Tory, okay? I'm not one of them niggas who's going, yo, listen, it's free Tory or die, and yo, they hit me with a summons.
You with the summons?
Yes. So they're suing a blogger, Milagro. And they're claiming, they're suing on behalf of
Megan's suing, right?
Yes, they're suing on behalf of Megan, right? And they are claiming that Tory was paying the media to badmouth Meg, right? And this one blogger who, I ain't gonna lie, she was definitely super like, fuck Meg and I love Tory. They believe she's been getting paid, right? They're going through with her. She's dropped attorneys. Like it's a lot. She's been ordered to pay like $5,000 or whatever the case is because she's like
a little bit silly because it's a blogger no one's ever heard of. Well, it's not like this is anyone on this.
That unknown. But in that world, like in a female, like
she's not the Shade Room. She's not Baller Alert.
But I think
she's not Neighborhood Talk.
They're trying to send a message. And they know they could exhaust her resources in a civil case, and they fucking subpoenaed me, which is so ironic. I'm like fucking washing my cars and shit like that, and I see this white guy come up. I see this guy's like start walking on my driveway, and I'm like, all right. So I know I got so many enemies. I'm thinking this might be a contract killer. I'm thinking, well, I do got my gun right inside of there on the back seat of the G-Wagon. So I back up a little bit. I'm like, let's see what's going on. And I see him, he got like a clipboard or whatever. And it was so interesting because I've been served before. The motherfucker serves me the subpoena to be deposed in that case. So I'm supposed to do a deposition, which I am going to fight it. And they asked for a bunch of like, what's your communications with blah, blah, blah. Send us all. I'm like, all right, y'all doing too much. But they paid me like $200. Like they hand me money.
For what?
It's a witness fee. I never even heard of that shit. They hand me this is your witness fee for your future testimony. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, they're going hard. So you and Nicki.
Yeah.
Me and Nicki have never been in a good place. Yeah. But I think we're on a ceasefire right now. They feel like they're going at Rock Nation. I really want no parts of that. But you said Nicki is the proof that you could be rich and miserable. Yeah. And the barbs are on your head. I'm surprised they ain't leak your number. And you better be careful with that RM because they'll come and steal it. The barbs are serious. No, the barbs are serious. The one time me and Nicki was into it, they try to send a transgender individual at me, and good thing I seen the psyop real quick. I realized I was like, "What's
a transgender trying to holler at you?"
Yeah, like I was in LA one time. You out there. I'm like, I'm popping. I'm like, whatever. So I'm trying to say, I'm looking for the hoes on some. I'm looking for the hoes on some sexy red shit. One of the barbs is like, I bet he's a nigga. The quickest way to get him is like try to throw some fake pussy at him. They hit me, but they're acting like a woman. But it was a transgender. So now I realize, there
How do you know the barbs were behind that?
Because when I peeped the game and I started looking at it was mad. Nicki's people be using unicorns and all that type of fucking like little emoji shit. And then like you could normally tell the barbers because like it'll be a lot of bullshit. And then the end part would be like Mirage. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like you could get it. So I peeped the last second. And I was like, yo, good, yo, imagine if I had linked up, yo, they would have had, yo, Act linked up with I'll be Mr. C, rest in peace. But they would have done me crazy. So I'm telling you, the Barbs, going at the Barbs, they've leaked my number 70 times. They've leaked my home address. They've hacked my accounts. Just be careful, Vlad. I don't know if you're ready to sign up for this one. But explain your beef.
I mean, it's not really a beef. It's just like you see Nicki with these, I don't know what she's on, but she gets on these like tirades. You know, people want to say that she's on drugs. I have no idea. You know, I'm not going to say that.
I think most entertainers are on drugs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
Or they have some vice.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're struggling.
Say that, then she's going to sue me or whatever else.
I'm not saying she's.
I have no idea. I'm just saying that this is a behavior that you see people that are on something suddenly go off on these crazy tirades. That, you know, suddenly she's attacking Jay-Z, she's attacking SZA, and I'm like, she's calling SZA ugly and shit like that.
Well, she's always been a mean girl.
That's what I'm saying. I just didn't like that, and I don't know SZA. I've never even met her.
I'm
not cool with TDE. I'm not beefing with you, but I'm not. No, you've never seen TDE artists on Vlad TV since J-Rock from 2009. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't rock with me, and I know Top. Like, Top called me like a couple of years ago, you know, to ask me about some other shit. So it's not like they don't know me. They know me. They don't rock with me. So, but SZA really just doesn't bother anybody. She's on tour. She's doing her thing. Like, she's one of the top.
I'm kind of sticking with Nicki with this. If I'm over here saying some of my gripes, mind your motherfucking business. Unless you're trying to get some of this smoke. Because when I'm giving out my smoke, if I see
what
somebody...
What does SZA do
so,
to catch that backlash?
Okay, let me give you what I believe is Nicki's perspective.
Let me interrupt you real quick. From what I understand, this whole thing stems from Nicki asking for a feature for SZA and them ignoring her.
Okay, well, it's been turned into that, saying there was pent up anger, but this originally started from Nicki Minaj calling out Desiree Perez in Rock Nation, who she believes has subverted her efforts in the music industry, most notably with the title situation. Okay, now I am in the opinion that Nicki didn't do good. She's not the most shrewd businesswoman, and I don't want to attack her business acumen, but the conversations I've heard people say behind that whole thing was, yes, she had to sign a piece of paper that was going to affirm her ownership, or when they were going to sell it, that she was supposed to get like $8 million, or like it was close to 10, because the company that was initially worth $56 million, when she got pieces of it, got sold for 6 times the amount, which was 300. Yes.
Tidal got sold for 300 million?
Yes. Jack Dorsey did that, and after they bought it out, like, he did that just to be friends with Jay-Z.
But it got diluted. There was more investors after the fact. So the initial shares, like, this is what happens with companies. Like, people don't like to listen to this, but like, you could own, okay, so let's just say you buy 10% of Vlad TV for $1 million, right? And it's worth $10 million at the time, right? You give me $1 million, I say you own 10% of Vlad TV. Well, later on, Vlad TV gets into some financial problems. Tidal's never been profitable. Let's just keep it 100. Like, Tidal's not a success story.
It's the same with Spotify, though. Spotify's never made a profit.
Let's take a look. Here's Spotify.
And by the way,
hold on. I can tell you that right now, because all you have to do.
Today was their earnings call. They reported a loss of $100 million from last quarter.
Let's look at the price-earning ratio.
They make revenue.
They're profitable. They have a 94 price-earning ratio. That means that they're profitable.
Well,
they may have lost overall, but overall the company's profitable. Well, now the stock is high because it's a 94 price-earning ratio, but if it was losing money overall, it'd be 2 dashes where it says price-earning ratio.
Well, that's what they've claimed. Maybe it's changed.
It's not a claim. It's right there in the numbers. Like, I know stocks. Like, to be losing money, you have to have a negative price-earning ratio, which this does not have. It's a 94. So hold on. So let me finish my story. So you give me $1 million, and I say you own 10% of Vlad TV. In the process, Vlad TV is losing money. I got to take on other investors. You know, Jay gives me $1 million. Steve Stout gives me $2 million, whatever else. Ultimately, everything gets diluted. So that million that you put in that was worth 10% is now worth 2% because there's other investors. And we had to give them pieces of the company to keep the company afloat and so forth. So by the time it sells, and I sell it for 10 million, you're like, I'm supposed to get $1 million, but you only got 200,000. You could be pissed off, but I had to explain that I had to bring in outside investment to keep the company afloat, and everything got diluted. My first job out of college was with a company called NetObjects, where that exactly same thing happened. NetObjects was worth a certain amount of money. I got a certain number of shares, but it kept losing money and so forth, and ultimately the shares got diluted. At the end of the day, it was worth nothing, so I got nothing out of it, but I was watching it happen, which is ultimately after a year, I quit. I saw what was happening. So Tidal is not a winning company. It's not a success story. It's a bummy, half-ass streaming network that nobody goes to. When's the last time you've heard someone, let me pull up my Tidal. Let me pull up so-and-so on Tidal. Nobody.
And by the way,
people do Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon to a certain degree.
And by the way, just to...
Spotify is a losing company. So sitting there like, I should have gotten 200 million. If the company sold for 300 million.
But by the way, I think I was also talking
Nicki
about...
Minaj said, I'm owed 200 million. For a company that sold for 3? What do you own, 2/3 of the company? And there were 16 other artists who signed up to begin with? And Jay-Z is the main shareholder, and there's a whole bunch of other shareholders, and it got sold to, Sprint at one point? You see dilution after dilution after dilution, so obviously you're not going to get that much. And at the end of the day, Nicki can do a couple of shows and make a few million. It's not even a major amount of money for her. It's not something that's going to get her out of debt. I can imagine it's like, look, I'm fucked up. And Jay-Z fucked up the only lifeline I had. Seriously, Nicki can go on a world tour and make a couple $100 million. She's that big of an artist. Am I right?
No, yes. But this is why...
That's my point. So when I saw this, and I saw these weird ranting, you owe me 200, they're like, yes, she does. And it's Deseret. And then the SZA thing just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. You're calling this girl ugly who already has insecurities about her looks. We've talked about this before. She already has serious insecurities about her looks. She's had plastic surgery and everything else like that. I remember when you said, you made a comment about her, Drake called you, was like, yo, man, she's really fucked up over this.
She was crying.
Yeah, man, she was crying.
She's at 5 BBLs.
Yeah.
Been trying to get that junk right. Hey.
I'm just saying, I just felt bad for this human being that's being attacked by this major artist who has this crazy fan base.
Because I ain't gonna lie, when I'm on my rant, stay out of my motherfucking business. What happened is that I don't care if Nicki's on some drugs. I don't know if Nicki on drugs, but I don't care what's going on with Nicki. But when Nicki going on her shit, mind your business unless you want to smoke. She tweeted out. Yeah. She tweeted something. She's like, the Mercury must be in retrograde today. And Nicki, the barber sent it to Nicki like, yo, she's subtweeting.
Okay, and here's the other big problem I had. One of the TDE dudes.
Punch?
No, not Punch.
Okay.
This other dude was like, yo, man, Nicki don't want to smoke with TDE. We'll put her... Mac Wap was like, yo, man, she get put in the blender. You see how Kendrick does it. Oh, my God. FBI, CIA, TDE is threatening me. They're going to kill me. And then, the fucking, what's her name, Luna, that one representative was like, I just talked to Nicki, and we're looking into this. We don't tolerate bullying or threats on people's life. And I'm just looking at this going and y'all call me the feds.
That's woman privilege right there, though.
Y'all call me the feds.
Yo,
when she's publicly tweeting the FBI and the CIA and talking to a government official about investigating someone who made a joke.
Meek Mill did the same thing to me. Meek said he talked to the governor about me, said I did murders. Hey, I will say this.
Which is lame as hell, too. So I'm just saying, y'all, y'all call me the feds when she's doing this. She's literally tweeting out that she's tagging the FBI and CIA and then talking to one of Trump's people about investigating a random ass comment, which she is smart enough to know that her life was being threatened.
Yo, play this.
Seriously. Am I right, though?
No, yeah.
Okay.
But that's woman privilege.
That's why I jumped in the shit.
That's woman privilege, though. When me and Nicki went back and forth, Nicki said, yo, you should go holler at my man, he a blood. Nicki was talking street shit to me. Yo, we could meet up. Nicki was saying, yo, my man's a big blood. Y'all could meet up and y'all could figure it out.
Y'all can meet up.
Right? So Nicki was talking that blood shit then. Now Nicki was just like FBI, CIA, DEA, ICE. Go get that nigga.
Go deport him. I just thought it was lame, man. I just thought it was lame as hell. And, you know, and I know the barbs were at my throat, and I really could care less, honestly. Like, these barbs really are fucking whatever. You know, and I think that these barbs, like, pump her head up to do all this weird shit. Because they ride with her no matter how ridiculous she is. And I just feel like this is all ridiculous. I wonder
one thing about her audience. Okay.
And that's why I said, you are rich as hell. You are successful as hell. When she told SZA, I tour in places they've never even heard of your name, SZA, she was right. She can go to these weird European countries and sell out stadiums that don't even know who SZA is. Like, she is so successful. She is the biggest female rapper ever. And there is really no argument.
Or no competition.
There is no competition. She's the Amazon of female rap. Like, who's number 2 in female rap?
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill's had an album in 20 years. Who's number 2? Number 2 with people right now who actually...
Are you talking about right now?
Right now.
I'm going to go Cardi, but then Glorilla. And then Lotto.
Right, but if you do a worldwide tour with any of those girls, Nicki will eclipse them.
Of course. Yeah, she's
That's what I'm saying. So you are so far beyond. You're sitting there arguing over a couple of $1 million that you may have been owed that doesn't make any difference in your life.
Well, it's bigger than that for her, though.
People, you're calling the FBI and CIA. You're actually talking to government officials about going after this guy when he made a blender joke. It's just lame, and it's just like she's not acting her wage. She's acting like a 5-year-old.
I think why some people are intrigued, at least now, by what Nicki's saying, is that Nicki is representing the idea or the person with the large enough voice that are saying certain things. For example, you interviewed with Bobby Shmurda, and when Bobby Shmurda was speaking about Rock Nation, what did he say?
He doesn't like him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one cares about Bobby Shmurda, respectfully. Bobby Shmurda's career is pretty much over, and I'm not saying
Bobby's more of a legacy artist unless he comes up with some bigger hits. And and I think the problem with Bobby is that he doesn't have a machine to push the songs. He's got songs, but I remember we were talking about this. He's like, I don't want to put them out and just have them die in the water. I just need a machine behind them.
But here's the thing: what Nicki is saying, it fuels a ongoing conversation about really moving the veil from behind the scenes of the industry. The stuff that she's saying at Desiree Perez and even at Jay-Z, there's a long storied history. She had a serious issue with one of the guys who was an executive over at Live Nation. Live Nation owns Rock Nation.
Really? Okay.
They gave Jay the 50-50 deal. That's why it's Rock Nation.
Oh, okay. Cool.
She was beefing with, I forgot his name is Azov or something like that for a while. She's been saying that she feels, now, is she telling the truth or not? You know, you could say she's whatever because she's still the biggest. She always felt that whether it was on a touring level, when it came time for her to drop her album versus Travis Scott, she felt that because of maybe either her attitude or whatever the case is, and she rubbed some people wrong, they would use entities and other artists to juxtapose to her situation to fuck with it. So now here's the thing. I think many artists go through that. For example, you see Drake, he's filing a lawsuit. Right?
I think it's silly.
Right? But still, his way of dealing with it is not being on Twitter at 3 a.m. tweeting and saying, you ugly as shit, go draw your freckles back on. What he's going to do is file a lawsuit. What Nicki's going to do, Nicki used to have Queen Radio. She would call some of these executives cocksuckers of the day. Now what she does is she's attacking Desiree Perez. Some people are like, well, you know, still it looks unhinged, but there are, like, her fan base is latching on to this saying what she's exposing is some almost cabal in the industry that have either suppressed artists or have done X, Y, and Z.
I don't believe any of that shit.